Hello friends, I'm Joy Chu, a former scientist turned content creator, and the goal of my YouTube channel is to help people discover the joy of cooking with science. For this week's video, I'm celebrating Mid-Autumn Festival with a twist. Rather than doing traditional mooncakes, I'll be showing you how to make mochi ice cream, a sweet Japanese rice dumpling filled with ice cream inside. Imagine biting into a delightfully soft, creamy treat in this hot September weather. And maybe I'll convince you that mochi ice cream is just as great as mooncakes this time of year. Heck, maybe I can even convince you that mochi ice cream is great all year round. But that's a whole different story. In addition to being delicious, mochi is a unique food that deserves a little introduction. It's a Japanese rice cake made of mochi gome, a short-grain glutinous rice. The name of the rice might be confusing since it doesn't actually have any gluten. The rice is gluten-like because of its high amylopectin content, a type of starch that makes the mochi extra sticky. Traditionally, people make mochi by soaking and steaming the rice, then pounding it into a paste. As much as I enjoy good arm workouts in the kitchen, I'm going to be making mochi the easier way with glutinous rice flour. So, let's go make some mochi ice cream. Before we jump into the mochi, a few words about the ice cream. A key trick to making mochi ice cream successfully is dividing the ice cream into pre-made scoops the night before. This is going to be a huge lifesaver when we get to the assembly stage. I'm keeping the scoops in a mini muffin tin lined with pieces of parchment paper. And since I like variety, I'm using 4 different flavors: strawberry, mango, green tea, and coffee. To make the mochi part, I'm going to create a paste with shira tamako. You might have heard of mochiko, which is another type of glutinous rice flour. Basically, they come from the same kind of rice, but go through different processing methods. You can definitely use mochiko to make mochi, but if you can get shira tamako, it's more refined and creates mochi with a softer, more bouncy texture. Since I'm doing multicolored mochi for the video, I'm making 2 separate batches. 1 green and 1 brown. For the first batch, I'm adding 50 grams of shira tamako. Then I'll put in 25 grams of granulated sugar. The sugar makes the mochi sweet, but also helps keep it soft by absorbing moisture. For green mochi, I'm also adding 1 teaspoon of matcha powder. Next, I'm pouring 77 grams of whole milk. Many recipes call for water, but I'm using milk here because the fats in the milk will help make the mochi more tender. I'm going to mix all of this together until the batter becomes a milky liquid. And now it's time to cook it. I prefer steaming my mochi for minimal water loss, so I've created my own stovetop steamer. I've got a large Dutch oven here, and I'm putting in a steamer insert and filling the pot with water partway. When I said in my bio that you don't need fancy tools to make amazing food, this, my friends, is exactly what I mean. After warming up the water on medium-low, I'll put this glass bowl inside, cover it with a bamboo steamer lid, and check on it halfway through cooking, in about 10 minutes. And I'm back! I'm stirring this mixture so that everything cooks evenly. When it eventually thickens to a very sticky paste, it's done cooking. This transformation from milky liquid to paste happens thanks to something called starch gelatinization, a process that changes the structure of starch granules from very organized molecules to a loose gel. Once we get to this paste stage, it's time to take it off the stovetop. After dusting my work surface generously with potato starch, I transfer the paste and coat it by flipping it with my spatula. You'll have to trust me not to get this paste anywhere near your palms in the beginning, or else it'll end up like this. So remember that at this step, the spatula is your best friend. Now for shaping. Many other recipes tell you to roll the mochi out into a sheet and use cookie cutters. I'm not a fan of everything looking the same, so I'm going to freestyle it like a hippie home cook. Once I shape the mochi dough into a log, I divide it into 5 roughly equal pieces. To let the mochi set a bit, I'm going to keep it in the fridge while I make the second batch. This time it'll be brown mochi, so I'm doing everything the same as before, except I'll add 1 teaspoon of cacao powder. Continuing with my hippie freestyling from earlier, I'm using my hands to shape the dough into mochi wrappers, about 3.5 inches in diameter. Now that I think about it, making mochi ice cream is basically the same as folding Chinese dumplings. Well, minus the fear of melting ice cream, of course. Okay, it's go time. The ice cream melts super fast, so I'll need to wrap the ice cream balls quickly. I'm brushing off the excess starch, placing a ball of ice cream in the middle of the wrapper, and pinching the mochi ice cream shut. Then I'll take some plastic wrap, seal it seam side down, and store them in the freezer for about an hour. Homemade ones won't look as perfectly round as store-bought, but once you taste these, you're going to love them in spite of their imperfections. After freezing them for a while, I'm going to cut into a couple of them. Actually, this is super fun. Since I don't remember what mochi had what ice cream, it'll be a little adventure for all of us. I'm cutting into the green one first, and it's green tea mochi with green tea ice cream, one of my favorite combinations. All right, let's see what the second one is. It looks like chocolate mochi with strawberry ice cream. I'm actually not going to say too much because these little guys are going to melt pretty soon. So without further ado, bon appetit! And a bite of this. Matcha's my jam. Thanks for watching. To get the full recipe with notes, subscribe to my free Substack newsletter. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning more about the science of everyday cooking, like and subscribe to my channel below. Go eat some mooncakes for Mid-Autumn Festival and some mochi ice cream too. See you in a couple of weeks.
So long.
Hello, friends. I'm Joy Chu, a former scientist turned content creator.
And I just made mochi!
I just made mochi. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, it looks so good.